What's up, everybody? It's AGXComics here, and today I'm talking about the Ultimate Invasion one-shot here. And actually, my bad, the Ultimate Universe, not the Ultimate Invasion. So sorry about that. Let me clarify that for a second. So I want to just kind of give you my thoughts and my opinions on this. Kind of go over what happened, what takes place. I thought this was going to be the one of the main titles, but it turns out there's only going to be three titles as of right now, which is the Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Black Panther, and then the Ultimate X-Men. So, I just wanted to clarify that from my last Ultimate video. And again, I didn't even think that I was going to be focusing so much of my efforts to be covering the Ultimate stuff. So, but I don't know. It's funny how that stuff kind of works out because now I'm just drawn into it at this point. So, I'll talk briefly what goes on in this, right? So, we see that Iron Lad, Doom, is in the beginning of this comic are going to bust out Thor because obviously the makers reset all the timelines, meaning that Thor's locked up and he is not the king of Asgard. So while that is the truth of what's happened since the prologue being the Ultimate Invasion four issue series that I covered on my channel, you can go check that out too if you want. I do cover all the books. What happens is they end up breaking him out, right? And kind of like retelling what's going on in this universe. And while they're doing so, if you remember, and again, this is spoilers for that Ultimate Invasion book, which I'm going to cover kind of my thoughts on all this. But at the end of Ultimate Invasion, we see that they kind of go and they take Captain America, right, who's frozen, and they kind of like, okay, hey, he's unchanged. This could be a big piece to help us with our North American territory, or not North American, but the actual territory. So they are working on unfreezing him, and meanwhile they had to go get this. I forget what it's called. It's like a reactor or something like this, and this was actually in the secret town that the maker has made, where we see the Makers Council. And the Makers Council is actually what's going to be the antagonist, I think, of all these books. Obviously, the Maker himself as well, but this council, and that's when it's kind of what we've seen in the Invasion was a little bit more in depth, where it was like the Hulk who's like somehow intelligent, or he's intelligent in the form of the Hulk, where it's really weird, right? So they all got their own twists on them, right? On the characters who are part of the Makers Council. And actually, I could go over that with you guys right now. So the characters I was referencing, or I was thinking of, I had to kind of do a recheck here, but like Enlightened Hulk is what I was trying to say. Um, Colossus, Magic, Omega Red, Silver Samurai, Captain Britain, all these guys, right? Are essentially what make up the Makers Council, right? And what we see in this one shot is basically they're kind of like framing the terrorist attack on Earth under Iron Lad's, identity as like, the Stark Corporation, which is interesting because it's kind of like it shows not so the book like within the book, which is something I like, is they actually show not like a checklist, but like kind of like where they're going, right? Like where the council's heading, what they want to take over, and how they're doing it by kind of like the map and who holds the most power and what territory. So that part was interesting. Other than that, we kind of leave off with like them trying to, so to speak, free up no, before the epilogue, free up Captain America, right? Obviously, there's this huge battle with Captain Britain when they were stealing that reactor. And then we see this attack that happens, right? And basically, we kind of see T'Challa like rise up at the end, which was like pretty cool. But other than that, it just I don't know. I don't know. It's just interesting, as far as like where it's gonna head with the X-Men, the Ultimate Spider-Man, like those titles. I am gonna give them a shot, and I will cover them and talk about them here on the channel. But as far as like every single book, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with all that. But so let me give you my thoughts finally on how I felt about this one shot. This one shot made two things very clear to me. One, I think Ultimate Invasion was kind of a waste of time. I know that they had to tell this story, but why the hell did it have to be 4 books that were all at a super high price point? I think the first one was $10, the last one was $10. I think the other ones were 6. Really was uncalled for. I know these books pack a lot in them. There's one thing about this run. I don't know the previous run, right? That's kind of like why I'm into like finding out other comics and this and that and going back in time and reliving those other stories because I don't have that background. However, what I do have is knowing that these books contain lots of word soup, right? Like lots of dialogue, right? And big ideas about how Earth, the 616, everything is relative to different universes. You have to really um how do you say, you got to really digest the material that's coming, like that comes at you in these books, at least from the invasion to this one shot. However, though, second thing, the one shot was written really well, made me really intrigued for what's coming up, and I highly recommend it. But 1 through 4, I mean, man, we could have did another one shot, right, with that, and then got this book. I don't see why there needed to be 4 books. I mean, I understand it flushed out the background of everything and kind of made you weary of the council, how the city, right, has came to play, why the maker is trapped in the Immortus engine, right? I understand that we needed to have context there to get to this point in the one shot to launch the universe. But this is the book that launches the universe, so to speak, and kind of gives you the outline of where events are going to head. So that's why I was like, not that it's useless. So I want to go back on my statement. I'm not trying to say that it was useless, but it just seemed like a lot of like we could have summed up places, you know what I mean? We could have summed up parts and not flushed it out so much in every single one of those 1 through 4 because I don't think it wasn't necessary, to be honest with you. Like, there's parts that obviously needed to be flushed out, and the story needed to progress, or else it wouldn't have made any sense how this one shot would have looked. But also, I don't really think you need that much. Like, I don't think if you're like late to the party and you're jumping on, I think you could use this and previous references of like what happened in the book, and I think you could kind of put it together. But other than that, I thought the one shot was good. It's making me intrigued. I can't wait for the next book to come out, whether that be Spider Man, Black Panther, or X Men. So, yeah, keep posted for more Ultimate content on the channel. And do me a huge favor and go and like and subscribe for more. Thank you, and until next time.